This is the AxiGlide, not your typical vise. It's built with a vertical pivot up front and a full 360-degree rotation on top. It lets you move your work instead of moving yourself. I've got lots of vises in my shop. I've got a couple here that are portable, some that are attached to benches. I did a review on this one a few years ago, so why would I want another vise? What I've been looking for is a third hand on the workbench, and because of the versatility of this, it does just that. For example, I've got a bunch of these switches where I need to tin these pins. I've got about 30 of them to do, and it's really difficult trying to hold on to the switches as well as the wire and the soldering iron. But this makes it so much easier for me to position this to where I want it so that I can do that. I am an amateur when it comes to soldering, but you can see how much easier this is rather than trying to hold 3 different things at one time. Now I have a lot of switches to do, but this isn't the only reason why I got this. But first, we flip this over, you can see these ovals on the bottom. This is so that we can attach it to the bench. For me, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense because I want this to be portable. So what I'm gonna do is add a piece of plywood on the bottom. I bought a rubber doormat that has kind of a fabric on top, and then I just used a little Mod Podge. It took me maybe 5 minutes to make with a little drying time. And now you can see that I've got a little bit more grip with it. And if I really need this to be held down tight, I can always add a clamp. This is obviously optional, but I think it makes it more useful. With the base on, this is exactly my third hand I was looking for. What I really like about this is, let's say I need to cut a strip of wood. My hand goes on top for leverage, and I can easily make my cut. Now, I'm not gonna be using a 2x4 in here. I'm not gonna be cutting plywood, but for small things like splines or other things, this works really well. I think what surprised me with this is how well it does with carving things. So let me show you that now. I've got an SD card reader here that I want to mount to my office wall using the shadow box method. This fits in the center, and then I probably have something that will hold it in place. To attach my block to the top of this, you've got these pins that fit on one of the jaw types. This fits in here like this, and then I can tighten this down. Now, instead of hovering over the top of it while I cut, I can pivot it toward me and get a better angle. And as I work, I can rotate the piece so I'm either cutting with the grain or across it. A regular vise can do this, but look at the angle I'm working from here. Being able to bring the work towards me feels a lot more natural, and when I actually see what I'm doing, I tend to make fewer mistakes. They do make carving vises, and from what I've seen, a lot of them use screw-down plates to hold the project. I've got a few examples here that use that method. They're great if you're doing dedicated carving, but you are mounting it. This feels a little closer to a jeweler's ball vise, using pin jaws and clamping pressure instead of screws. So far, I've only shown the metal jaws, but what makes this a little more unique is that you're not limited to just these. On the back, you've got these 2 screws, and what we do is we switch it from one to the other. So red means lock, green means unlock, and these just slide right off. Besides the metal straight jaws, there are some nylon/plastic. Just like before, these slide in place and then they lock. What I really like about these jaws is how I can clamp delicate things without marking them. About a month ago, I needed to round over the edges of this yoke scraper. I'm not putting a lot of force on this, so I could technically hold it in my hand, but I've got a lot more control like this. I actually noticed the shavings were coming off cleaner, and just like when I was carving, once one edge looked good, I could rotate it and work another side. Honestly, this was a lot of fun. It almost felt like hand carving, even though it was sitting in a vise. Because it's portable, I have even more options for rotation, which makes refining these edges quick and easy. Besides the 2 straight jaw sets, there's also a couple other sets that you can use that work with rounded objects. The metal fractal jaws, which are just basically curved jaws designed to grip round shapes, has also solved kind of an annoying router bit problem for me. Normally, if I need to replace a bearing or even just clean up the router bits, I'm hovering over the top of the router table, hoping that I don't drop a screw down below after I've removed it. Now, why do I leave it in the router? Usually I keep it in because it's the easiest way to lock the shank and keep it from moving on me. This is especially helpful with bearing screws that can be stubborn to get out. With this, I can add my router bit to the top, tighten it down, and then I can angle this towards me so that I can easily work on this. And the nice thing about this is that 1/4" and 1/2" shanks work fine. For router bits that use different size bearings for making different size grooves, this really helps out for removing these. And here's a big tip for router bits. If you're getting burning, it doesn't necessarily mean your bits are bad. You can actually see the pitch build up on this bit. A little pitch cleaner in a spray bottle, and it's easy to come back and clean up our router bits. I like this because I can clean this up without having to worry about any kind of chemicals getting down below. Then you've got the non-marring fractal jaws, same curved shape as the metal ones, but now I can clamp woods, finished parts, or really anything that I don't want to leave a mark on. I've even thought about using these to make wooden knobs in the future. To be perfectly honest and fair, I haven't used either of the fractal jaws nearly as much as the straight jaws yet, and I know that not everybody's messing with router bits the way that I do, but I think there's some real potential with these. The last thing that we need to look at is this lever on the side, which controls a 360-degree horizontal rotation. You've probably noticed me moving this throughout the video, but there are actually 3 settings here. And just like the jaw release, they're color-coded. Red locks the vise down completely when you found where you want it to stop. Yellow gives it kind of a ratcheting feel. And green lets it spin freely, so if you're jumping from different sides of your work, it moves without fighting you. To be completely fair, I found myself using the locked and the free spin modes a lot more than the ratcheting mode. I haven't quite found a reason for the ratcheting mode yet, but I could see it being useful if you wanted more precise movement. And you can also see the markings on the vertical pivot, so if you need to return to an exact angle, those are there too. Overall, I'm pretty happy with this vise and look forward to seeing how I can use it later on, but when I first unboxed it a few months ago, I was a little worried about it. Mine didn't come with an Allen wrench to open and close the jaws. I think there's an attachment you can buy from the website, but I think it would have been nice to have added something like this. I think my favorite way to use this, besides having it as a third hand, is with carving. If I'm being honest, the thought of being limited to this small vise for doing any kind of carving really had me second guessing it. I mean, you do have the pin blocks on top that does expand it a little bit, but then I remembered that we've already got a way to attach things to the front of it. So if you wanted to add a plate for carving, like carving vises, you can make it with a piece of plywood and add a board on the back for the vise to grip onto. You could even make a wedge clamping system that's just basically a piece of plywood with a couple strips of wood on the top, as well as, again, a piece that will fit inside of the vise on the bottom. The project goes in, and then you add your wedges, squeeze them together, and you're ready to go. And yes, I am an amateur with carving as well, so please forgive the mess in front of me. That's it for this review. If you're interested in the AxiGlide, I have a link in the description down below. My question to you is, how would you use this? Thank you, my friends, and remember to keep making things.